And then I'm just like, okay, so we're back to business as usual.
I don't think we are, though.
See, I don't know. Like back to business before Trump or whatever.
I think that's what they desperately want to happen, but I don't think that's happening at all. And I think a lot of people really have radicalized in this country, and especially against the media. I think you see it on social media. People are a lot more hateful or antagonistic towards, let's suppose, CNN than Joe Biden, which wouldn't have been the case 6 years ago. And I think that's very healthy. I think like if you look at who are talk about the war, like yeah, Joe Biden voted for the war, but the New York Times are the ones banging the war drums and were much more effective at it than some rando senator from Delaware. So the fact that all these corporate media entities have all this literal murder on their hands, I think people are increasingly understanding that, and thankfully are realizing that they are just like Tim Dillon, who I know you sponsor as well. He just had this great tweet where a New York Times reporter just very respectfully is like, "Hey Tim, hey Mr." He's very professional. He's like, I got your contact info from such and such a person. I'm doing an article on Joe Rogan, just wondering what he's like as a host, so on and so forth. Like very like, hey, and you could see how maybe 15 years ago, you're a comic, your podcast, oh my God, the New York Times is calling me, blah, blah, blah. And now I don't know Tim that well, but I know him well enough to know this. He just replies, dear Frank, whatever the guy's name is, respectfully go fuck yourself, in those words. Because now there's an understanding. This reporter, it'd be one thing if the reporter was just, skeptical or skewed, like, Joe Rogan does a lot of good things, but here's some consequences. Let's have a balance. Let's look at the positives and negatives of getting your opinions from someone who doesn't answer to an organization. You could easily see the case against that, who's the check on that, right? But now there's a complete understanding this is going to be a hit piece. Like there's not even it's just like, who do you think you're fooling at this point, New York Times? So that was just, and Elon Musk, another one, like the New York Times emailed him, I think it was New York Times or Washington Post, and he just replied like, tell your corporate overlords to suck my dick or something like that. But like to have that, not only that level of contempt in terms of like, you're the bad people, but also to feel comfortable speaking in such a crass manner to people who present themselves and who are perceived as so high up socially and culturally. Yeah. So that I think is very healthy. It's not just that they are evil people. It's that they're trash, like just real scum as human beings, and should be spat on like when people see them on the street.
I want more people to see the truth for, their agendas. And
exactly.
Like, it's just like, be cool. Like, what's so hard about that? Why do you have to write a hit piece?
Here's like this. Here's how I would do it. I'm writing a piece that's critical of Joe Rogan and his influence on this country. You've been a frequent guest. Tell me what I'm missing. I want to have it be balanced, and tell me why you think Joe Rogan's I keep calling him Joe Biden. Why do you think Joe Rogan's a positive? That's how you write the piece. That's perfectly reasonable. Like, okay, defend him, like, and answer my criticisms. But it's a complete, they had no. This is the one article. There's another few articles that are like so beyond the pale that you're like, okay, you people really are the devil. Like there was A1 Above the Fold, which is like the prime real estate in the New York Times, had a piece. There was a kid in West Virginia who started watching Ben Shapiro, and YouTube, thanks to the algorithm, started watching white nationalist videos.
Oh no!
And by the end, he's like, I'm not a white nationalist. This is stupid. And he like just became regular conservative. And the article's like, oh my God, YouTube's radicalizing our youth. It's like, okay, you used one data point. So even if one person watched Ben Shapiro and then became a Nazi somehow, like that's not indicative of a broader trend, right? Number one. Number two is your example, that it didn't even have happening. Like he went too far and he's like, wait, this is crazy. And he pulled back. Yeah. I'm like, why is this a story at all, let alone literally front page news there? Because you have an agenda and you are the enemy of the people.
Yeah, that one good thing about like Trump being gone, I feel like I've tuned out in a lot of politics. It's like, I don't even want to watch this. It's almost depressing because of stuff like that and the agenda. And it's just like, I'm not paying attention. I'm going to watch Joe Rogan and Michael Malice and Dave Smith. There's people who I trust.